All right, please don't hate me. Part 3. Just give me 3 minutes of your time. We're going to talk about medical mistakes. This is tragic and such an important thing. Doctors are human. They make mistakes. I want you to look at page 113. I think I'm going to ask you a question. Or maybe not. I think your discussion questions are already there, but I want you to read the wrong leg story. How would you feel if you needed to have a leg amputated and you got the wrong one amputated? I can't imagine how devastating that would be. On page 115 to 116, there's an excellent section on managing medical mistakes. How you can do that. And I just thought it was really great information. I wanted to go over it real quick. I'm so sorry. Okay, so how can you manage from the beginning? First of all, proactively, preemptive skill building is much better than trying to put out a crisis. So before you take off somebody's wrong leg, there are other things you can do to preemptively go before that. From the beginning, first of all, establish trust. Have an open and trusting relationship. Okay? That's where the communication thing comes in handy. Even if it's a biomedical approach, it's important that you have an open communication with your patient, because they might be able to say to you then, hey dude, it's the wrong leg. And then you're like, oh my gosh. They are human too and make mistakes. Secondly, invite feedback. Does that make sense to you? You say to your patient, when I touch this leg, does it hurt? Tell me how you feel. What are you thinking about this? Number 3, respond to complaints and requests as quickly as possible. Just think about it. If you respond quickly, you could avert further medical disasters. You could stop an infection that could be deadly. If you address things quickly, they don't escalate. And then share that you care. Show that you care. If your patient believes that their doctor cares about them, it makes a difference. Create realistic expectations. Don't set them up for disappointment by painting a really bright picture because you don't want them to feel bad. If it's a negative situation, you need to tell them in a way that makes sense, because you want them to listen and do the appropriate action, whether it's treatment or make the right decision, right? But they won't do that if they don't really feel like you care about them. Instead, they'll be defensive. And then create realistic expectations. I said that. Put it in writing. Write it down, something they can take home with them, something they can look at. Make sure it's documented what you told them, so that protects you too from coming back. And then do not be shy about giving referrals. If you're in over your head, say it. Say, you know what, this isn't my area of expertise. Nobody expects one doctor to know and do everything. Okay? And then finally, don't forget the family. It's not just your patient, you're involving a whole family. And everybody that loves that person is technically involved in this case. And then finally, own up to small mistakes. When you make a mistake, say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. That was a mistake. Not long ago, my son was in an eye appointment. And as I said, he had a brain tumor 20 years ago, and he's visually impaired severely. And the doctor did not look at his chart. He was a new ophthalmologist. And he said, I'm really worried about your son's eyesight. In 1 year, it has went from 20/40 to worse than 20/400. And I am worried he has a brain tumor and we need to get an MRI. And I was like, 20/40? It's never been 20/40. I said, can't you drive at 20/40? And he goes, well, yeah. I said, my son's legally blind. And he said, no, his chart said 20/40 a year ago. So if it's up to 20/400, that means he has pressure behind his eyes, something's severely wrong. And I was just perplexed. I thought, something's not right here. And then sure enough, he goes back and looks at his chart. Guess what? It said 20/40, and then it ran out of room, and the other 0 was on the next line. So he read it wrong, or it got transcribed wrong. And then he went, oh, thank God. I thought he had a brain tumor or something. Let's cancel the MRI. It's been 20/400. Yes, it has. But it gave this mother, my heart fluttered because we've already been through all that and I didn't want to do it again. So I appreciated him saying, please forgive me. I just didn't read the chart properly. So I thought that was great. And it gave me confidence that he's a good man and he's going to take good care of my son. So I hope this helps. If an error does occur, rehearse how you will disclose the information. Deliver it as simple and truthfully and clearly as possible. Stop talking and listen. What would you want somebody to say to you if you took off the wrong leg, right? So thank you for listening. You have 3 videos. Bless you. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.